These people thought they were humiliating you, but really they were humiliating themselves. Why their attempts to humiliate you, do humiliation rituals, often backfire on jealous, envious people. You see, these people assume they can humiliate you, but when you recognize humiliation rituals for what they are, when you know somebody is setting you up for humiliation rituals, you are better equipped to shut it down. And see, people who are jealous and envious and get a kick out of doing humiliation rituals on other people, when they notice that you're hip to what they're doing, when they notice that you don't play those kind of games, they will get highly upset and treat you or try to gaslight you into thinking that you're being too sensitive. See, when people attempt to do humiliation rituals on you and you catch on to it, those are the very people who end up looking stupid because they assume that they would be able to get away with doing the humiliation ritual. But if you are the kind of woman that knows the wicked, demonic games that people can play, and you catch on to what they try to do to you, these people get confused and they start treating you as if you're sensitive, or they try to lash out at you and make it appear that you are the bad guy. Now, there are 3 ways that you can shut down humiliation rituals, and this further irritates your haters, but it keeps you away from being a part of that humiliation ritual. Number 1, you can own it. You see, people who try to do humiliation rituals on you, they like to feel as if they're putting you on the spot. They like to bring up things or say things about you or make comments about your appearance or about something that you do as if it's supposed to bring you some kind of shame. And the moment that it doesn't do that, they're the ones looking humiliated. So when you own whatever it is they're saying, when you just have that, oh, well, so what kind of mentality, a person who is jealous and envious and feel like they're trying to shame you by doing a humiliation ritual on you, when you simply don't care and you own it. So I'll give you an example. Let's say for women, because women are good for this, especially when they're jealous and envious of other women's hair or how they look, they might say something to the effect of, well, you know, that's a wig, right? And they'll normally say something like that because people are commenting you on your hair. They'll say, oh, your hair looks beautiful. You know, I like that look. You always look good. And a hater will sit back and say, you know, that's a wig, right? And in that moment, they feel like they got you. They feel like they shamed you. They feel like they humiliate you. But if you respond, if so, okay, it still looks good though. So what's the point? You take away their ability to shame you because you own it. People who like to do humiliation rituals on other people, they want you to feel a sense of shame and thus look bad or look crazy or look stupid in front of other people. But when you deprive people the opportunity of doing a humiliation ritual on you by simply owning whatever they say, they end up looking stupid. And honestly, people who try to do humiliation rituals on other people, because they are insecure and often jealous and envious of other people, they are looking for perfection, or may I say imperfections, in order to make themselves feel good. But what haters and jealous, envious people do not realize is that everybody has flaws. Everybody has imperfections. And you're the kind of woman who does not stand and believe that she's perfect, but to a hater, you are. And because of it, they have to try to perform some kind of humiliation rituals on you. But when you own whatever it is they're saying and you could care less, you don't have any shame attached to what they said, you take that power away from the hater, the jealous, envious person who's trying to do the humiliation ritual on you. So when somebody attempts to humiliate you, do a humiliation ritual, and they end up looking crazy, they end up being humiliated, it backfires on it. Normally it's because you own it. Okay, my hair is cute. Yeah, it's a wig. So what? Yeah, my hair is cute. It's my real hair. You know, and I'm using that as an example because that tends to be a big thing with women, especially, and I mentioned this before, when it comes to beauty and looks. When women are jealous of other women, they're always trying to shut down another woman's beauty, especially when she's getting a lot of attention based on how she looks. So she will try to bring up the fact that, oh, you know that's weave, you know that's a wig, oh, you know she has makeup on, oh, you know this, you know that. It's like they say these things in an attempt to kind of take away that wow factor from you. Because when other people are in awe of you, that's when jealous, envious people decide to do their humiliation rituals the most. It's like, oh no, she's getting too much attention. Oh no, people see her in too much of a good light. I need to say something to shame her. And the moment you take that away from them by owning it and still looking cute, still getting the attention, still confidently being you, that shuts the haters down. Their humiliation rituals backfire, and they are the ones being humiliated and honestly being seen to be the nasty, unkind person they are. So the number one way you can shut down humiliation rituals is to own it. You know, I have seen people try to shame women. You know, they might make nice meals, nice foods, nice platters, and they'll try to shame the woman by saying, oh, she gets food stamps. The woman made something good to eat. People are buying it. What does it matter? When people try to do humiliation rituals on you, it's because they're jealous of the outcome that you have in your life. If you're being successful in something, if you're getting recognition in something, if people genuinely like you and they like how you are as a person, if people gravitate to you, expect that you're going to have jealous, envious people, especially other women, who decide they want to try to humiliate you or embarrass you simply because they don't like the attention that you're getting. And the way you can combat that is by owning it. You know, shaming a woman because of her financial status, I really think that's a loser move. Simply because, number one, feminine women do not get their value and their worth based on how much money they have. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a lot of money. I have spoken in other videos about the importance of having money, having resources, having your own, being an independent woman. But femininity is not masculine. It doesn't like boast about, look at all the money I got, look at this. So when a woman, a jealous, envious woman, attempts to humiliate another woman based on the things that she does or does not have, especially when it comes to money and resources, it's really falling on deaf ears because that's more of a manly thing to do. So when a woman tries to humiliate you based on what you do or don't have, they're making themselves not only look dumb or humiliate themselves, but they're making themselves look manly. I have literally seen women, dare I say, I have to say it how it's coming to me, have pissing contests based on how hard they're working. If that is not the most manliest thing I have ever witnessed, it's like they're fighting over who struggles the most. And when you are a woman who does not subscribe to that kind of mentality anyway, trying to shame you by saying that you're lazy, you don't get it out the mud, you don't do all this other crap, you don't care. You're unbothered. You might make your money or do the things that you do in a more easygoing way. And to a hater, to a jealous, envious person, they might try to shame you, try to humiliate you and say, you're a loser because you don't work as hard as me. Feminine women don't work that hard. And I know this is, this isn't aligned with the video, but a little bit of a sidebar because these are the other things that women try to, quote, humiliate other women over. They try to shame you because you're not a lumberjack working out in the fields by the sweat of your brow, and you tend to be a little bit more unbothered and feminine, and you choose to make your money in a more subtle way or live your life in a more soft way. And women will try to attempt to humiliate you because of that. You know, women have grown so masculine that when they see a woman just living in her femininity, thriving, unbothered in her skin, they try to humiliate you and shame you by saying, oh, you just a stay-at-home mom, I got my degree, I got this, I got that. I am not shaming women who have a degree. I have one. I'm not shaming women who work in corporate environments. I've done that. I'm doing that part-time, but I'm doing it. What I'm saying is that there are some women who like to use their status and their finances to come against women who could care less. They'll try to humiliate you and say, so how's being a stay-at-home mom? I know you just feel so unfulfilled. I just know you want something more for your life. And true story, I've had people say things like that to me, as if my life was empty simply because I was not working like a lumberjack at the sweat of my brow. They didn't understand the idea of being an unbothered woman, being kept, and not having to work as hard. And I'm not saying that as a flex, because I know how to work hard and I have worked hard. But when a woman gets jealous and envious and try to humiliate other women simply because they don't have the same kind of struggle, they trying to turn your positive into a negative in order to make themselves feel better. And I see a lot of women who are stay-at-home moms, and forgive me, I have to stay on this topic for a moment because we're just at number one here. But when it comes to this humiliation rituals and shaming that women try to do to other women because they're jealous, a lot of times that is attached to a woman's unbothered and oftentimes feminine nature. It's like if you're not stressed, depressed, down and out, they try to humiliate you and say that you're lazy. Oh, you are dependent on other people. A feminine woman, a woman who is comfortable with herself, doesn't mind getting help from other people. She'd rather get help from other people that she can trust than to do everything on her own and suffer. So women actually like to shame and try to humiliate a woman for being married, for having a man's help, for having family support. It's very weird, to say the least. These people try to humiliate you, but they only end up humiliating themselves. That's why their attempts to humiliate you often backfires. When you own it, you take the hater, the jealous, envious person's power away. You say, yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, my husband pays all the bills, or he pays the majority of the bills, or, yeah, I stay home with my kids. I don't work, not that hard anyway. I work part-time. And they say, girl, couldn't be me. Definitely couldn't be you, because nobody want to take care of you because you are a miserable twitch. It's like people who try to humiliate other women based on, them being able to live the life that they are not able to live. Not only are they showing themselves to be a hater, but they're making themselves look crazy. Because a little bit of another sidebar, forgive me, as quiet as kept, a lot of women who like to envy and humiliate women who are seemingly more unbothered and relaxed, thus they're not a hater. They normally do that because they see the woman living the life that they themselves wish they could live. And because they can't, they just glorify the struggle. They settle in that, and they expect that other women should. And the moment they can't make you feel bad about choosing a more peaceful, unbothered life, they get like, It is what it is. You own it. No, I don't work at the sweat of my brow. No, I don't have to go out and work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And once again, this is not shaming anyone who does. This is just an example of how women try to humiliate other women based on financial resources or lack thereof. A feminine woman does not care about all of that. She cares about maintaining her peace. And women don't even understand how masculine and how overbearing and obnoxious and, dare I say, unladylike it is to try to humiliate another woman based on her feminine softness and her unbothered nature. It's like you're acting like a guy. But I digress. So the number one way you can shut down people's attempts to humiliate you is to own it. The number two way you can shut down humiliation rituals, when these people try to humiliate you and end up humiliating themselves, it's because you confront them on it. Now, for me, in this phase of my life, I don't really confront people on much of anything because it's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy. It is what it is. Think what you want to think. But when somebody tries to humiliate you based on something that they feel is going to shame you in order to make themselves feel better because they're jealous and envious of you, you can confront them on it. Back to the first example I used of a woman's hair. While that might be so superficial to some people, looks and beauty, we're not going to pretend that that's not often the first thing that women come at other women with. So when you confront them on it, let's say, and normally, and I know this might sound mean, normally a woman who's making fun of or attempting to humiliate or shame another woman based on her looks, normally the woman doing the shaming does not look as good. She does not look as kept. She does not even look like she gives that much effort. So you, in turn, in your retaliation, might have a lot to work with. And I'm not suggesting that you go all in, as we say where I'm from, on people, but it's okay to nice nastily put a woman in her place when she comes at you about something that she's attempting to humiliate you. You know, that may look different for every woman. Every woman's nice nasty is different, but I will say that honestly, that's a way you can deal with it if you are backed into a corner and you have no choice. But honestly, I believe this next way is the best way to deal with haters when they attempt to humiliate you and do those humiliation rituals on you, which is to do number 3, to ignore them, to completely disregard. When a woman is attempting to do a humiliation ritual on you because she's jealous and envious of you, she's attempting to shame you based on something that is good in you because she doesn't have it. She might not have that necessary, character trait or that quality. You have to recognize it for what it is. This person is jealous of me. This person is envious, and I'm not going to give my time and or attention to what they're saying. So what you can do is disregard, ignore that person. When somebody says to you, that's not her real hair, silence. Silence. All silence. People who are jealous and envious or just toxic in general, they don't know what to do with the silence because their mouth is always running. When somebody attempts to humiliate you, to shame you, to do some kind of humiliation ritual, and they're trying to get you to feel something, you not feeling anything to the point that you are just dead silent, you don't say much of anything, you might not even look at them. You might just continue to have your conversation and go about your business. That kills jealous, envious haters. That makes toxic people feel so dumb. It's like you met their chaos with your calmness and they just don't know how to respond. Because remember, jealous, envious, toxic people who have unchecked, those who use their jealousy and envy to mistreat people, they don't know how to handle calm. They're not anticipating it. Because they are so, toxic and unfulfilled and like to try to bring other people down by trying to do humiliation rituals, when they're met with your silence, they don't know how to handle it. They're like, y'all didn't hear what I said? Her hair is fake. Y'all didn't hear what I said? She gets stamps. You just serving the food, smiling, and doing what you do. And people will admire you as a woman for not responding to that, as they say, low vibrational behavior, because you're showing yourself to be the better woman. And that right there is how you destroy jealous, envious people who attempt to do humiliation rituals on you. When you show yourself to be the better woman, that just gets them. It's like, who does she think she is? And not only did you show yourself to be the better woman, you showed yourself to be the better woman in front of other people. That's humiliating to a hater who's trying to make you look bad, feel bad, and you feel none of that. You are unbothered. You are still calm. You are still doing what you do, despite what they just said, despite what they just tried to do. And you'll notice that when you respond in confidence, when you respond in unbothered energy, the people around you, the ones who they were trying to get the response from, unless those minions, they're minions that are with that person who's trying to humiliate you, if they're not with that person, if they're just like bystanders, people you're associating with, those people are going to gravitate to you even more, and they're going to be repelled by the person who tried to do the humiliation ritual on you. Showing yourself to be the better woman when somebody's trying to humiliate you and you go unbothered, that just gets them in a way that I can't even explain. It's just being in that situation when you show yourself to be like, I am me, you are you, we're not even on the same level. Like, you're so low hanging fruit that this is not even worth my time, and you just continue being you. That's how you shut down people who try to do humiliation rituals on you. Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comments section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.